You also said that that people should talk more about Black churches, right? And I love that because when when I married Melvin, that was the first time that I was really, okay, so we're going to church when we're down in Columbia, South Carolina. And it was so different. I grew up Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one of the first times my mother-in-law, for some reason, was sitting in front of us, and she was putting her hand up to the sky. And I was like, this is so cool because everyone's singing and they're joyful, and it's so different because it was like the emotion it made me feel, I'm just being really honest, was like,
No.
why don't we do that? And I feel sort of embarrassed to do that, right?
Right.
I don't want to feel embarrassed, but I
it's-
think I wanted to ask you why you think it should be talked about more.
I'm gonna tell you, it's so crazy to discuss that and talk about it in the book because my great grandmother's funeral this morning, right? So I've been gone from home now for 18 years, right? Even 20 years, including my 2 years in college, even though I was right here at home. So it was one of my son's first experiences today, right? At church with all of my family. I was listening to gospel music this morning before we left the house, like while we was getting in the shower and stuff. And my son walked in there, and I said, man, this song right here make you want to shout. And my son was like, what? What? So we sort of showed him what shouting was and all this. And
What is it?
like shouting is like someone is like feeling the Holy Spirit or whatnot,
Yeah.
and it just moves you. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
people get their feet going and all this stuff. So we're in the church today, and I was all messed up because it's just like I detailed in the book, right? Like it was an open casket of my great grandmother, and I kept looking at my grandmother, just seeing how hurt she was, and looking at my dad and seeing family members that I haven't seen in years. And it's like people always say, you hate that it takes losing people to get your family back together. But
Yeah.
you know, for my job and what I do, I'm constantly gone. But you know, my son was sitting there today, and the eulogy today was amazing. The pastor, he was so good. But towards the end, you know, a few people started, you know, feeling it, and one of my cousins got to shouting, and my son sitting next to me, like I said, he hadn't seen or experienced all this before, and he was just so funny to look at and to see him. You know, he tried to say that my cousin Sherry was doing the gritty, you know what I mean? But it's crazy, as hard as it was today and the hurt. You know, it's always nice to be able to find some type of laughter in a moment of grief like that.